Hello friends, this is Fox Nival Studios. Today we are here with new chapter What if Naruto and Gohan was a hybrid ninja? Before starting story, please subscribe our channel. Now let's start the chapter. Both Cell and Gohan yelled as two great blue energy waves clashed, causing an amazing light show. The Z warriors were amazed at the sight of the amazing clash of Kamehamehas. It was probably the biggest and strongest they'd ever seen. The humans were totally shocked at just how far the Saiyans had gone. They were simply too far ahead from them. When Goku was defeated by Cell, the Z fighters had lost all hope of defeating the bio-android, and when Goku said that their only hope was Gohan, it got even worse. The young Saiyan had been horrified as he was forced to fight against the strongest enemy they had to stop up until now, being way stronger than Freezer had previously been. This horror only increased when Goku, in an unexpected and quite weird movement, gave Cell a senzu bean. Fortunately for all of them, Goku's son had been able to stand up to the android's power. "That kid is amazing," Piccolo said as he pridefully smiled. He remembered when Gohan was just a little child, when he was still weak and innocent. "Yeah. Unbelievably amazing," Krillin added as he remembered the moment he met Gohan as a baby. It had been quite a long battle and a lot of it had gone wrong. Unfortunately, they had lost Goku and Vegeta during the battle, although they died in honorable ways. Goku died saving the Earth from total destruction, while Vegeta died saving Trunks from Cell's attack. Now, Gohan was having one last battle against Cell, a fight that would decide the fate of both the Earth and the universe. Piccolo ran through many worse scenarios where things went a bit worse than the current scenario, but quickly lost concentration as Cell threw out two Cell JRs. The Namekian warrior got ready to respond in the case that his pupil wasn't able to resist against the android. Ha. Surrender, Gohan. I've already won. Cell was laughing maniacally as his Cell JRs went on to attack the half Saiyan. Never. Gohan yelled back as he increased his Kamehameha's power as much as he could. He was already feeling tired and had a bit of serious injuries, but he was still able to overwhelm Cell. "We can't let those Cell JRs distract Gohan," Trunks said as he beckoned the Z warriors to follow him, flying towards the Cell JRs. As he turned into Super Saiyan, Piccolo and Tien Shin Han followed him without doubting, while the rest decided to stay where they were, in safety. "We're here, Gohan," Tien yelled as he flew up high and started charging his tri-beam. He initially pointed it towards one Cell Jr. but changed his decision at the last moment to point to the normal Cell. "Here I go, tri-beam." "No, not again," Cell screamed as he looked up to see the three-eyed warrior throw his attack, pounding him to the floor and making his Kamehameha weaken. Unfortunately, as Piccolo and Trunks continued to fight the Cell JRs, Tien's energy dried out quickly and was unable to continue using his tri-beam. The three-eyed warrior wasn't able to flew much time after the attack due to the enormous amount of energy required by his technique, which caused him to fly next Piccolo and Trunks for a safer position. "Thanks, Tien," Gohan said as he used the last bits of his power to make one last push against the monster. No, Cell started to yell as Gohan's energy wave started to consume his, but then, he had an idea. "Come here, my son." Piccolo tried to stop the Cell Jr. but was told by Trunks to focus on the other one while he took care of the one that moved towards the main cell. The Namekian called Krillin and Yamcha as he needed as much help as possible against the Jr. As Trunks finally reached the Cell Jr., it threw an energy ball towards him, making him stop for a minute to avoid the energy attack. The Cell Jr. used the time to get to the original Cell and was absorbed by it, automatically gaining its strength and increasing his Kamehameha's power. The time traveler instantly went to help Gohan, charging a Gallic gun and joining the push against Cell. Gohan smiled confidently as his friend had come to help him, but then that smile vanished. The android's eyes widened as the clash started to become unstable and a dark void appeared between the two energy waves. "We should end this fast," Trunks said as he increased his Gallic gun's power, which made Gohan totally scared and nervous. Goku's son had already studied black holes and wormholes, mainly because of his mom making him study a higher level than he should, and he knew that there was a little possibility that this was one of them. "No!" Gohan yelled as Trunks' attack increased power made the void grow, starting to absorb everything around it. Gohan gathered some ki and used it to create an air blast that threw Gohan away from the void, resulting in himself being absorbed by it while Cell's matter was totally disintegrated due to the void's pressure. Piccolo tried to go in as he saw the void, but he was interrupted by the Cell Jr., who made the three of them quickly kill him with a combination of Yamcha's Spirit Ball, Krillin's Destructo Disc and the Namekian's Special Beam Cannon. But to Piccolo's bad luck, the void had already disappeared as they killed the little monster. It had apparently absorbed Gohan and Cell, as Trunks laid unconscious in the floor. Two kids ran through the streets of Konoha as they were pursued by several villagers, who were clearly mad at the kids. You could notice that the anger was more directed towards the blonde kid, although it didn't take much of it off the brown-haired, younger kid. The blonde kid also looked older than the brown-haired one, even despite being almost the same height.
After some more minutes of persecution, the kids finally noticed that the villagers had stopped following them, which made them confused. Although they were a bit relieved that the persecution was already over as they were really tired. They had arrived at an alley, where they decided to rest a bit before going to their respective houses, although the blonde kid wasn't as eager to do this as his friend was, maybe because he didn't really have anyone to receive him.
Wow, that was really close. The brown-haired kid said as he sat down to rest for a bit. Yeah. The blonde kid added as he laid on the wall. Naruto. An old man with a white robe asked as he suddenly appeared out of nowhere. The kids were totally scared and even screamed. Hello old man. Naruto answered as he smiled nervously. I'm disappointed in both of you, Naruto and Konohamaru. The old man added as he shook his head, showing his disapproval of their actions. Go back to you houses, and Naruto, we have to talk later. Yes, sir. Both of them said, running away from the situation after finishing the phrase. The old man laughed softly as he saw the kids leave the place. Sigh. Back to boring Hokage work. I wonder if I should have someone move out with Naruto. Well, doesn't matter anyway, he has been living alone all this years, hasn't he? The old man said as he turned around to go back to his office. He gave the sky one last glance before starting to walk. His eyes widened in surprise as he saw a weird black hole open in the sky, letting one object out of it before disappearing. The old man saw the object fall and quickly went to the Hokage tower to make the announcement. Finally, something interesting happens. A silver-haired man wandered through Konoha. He didn't seem to be searching for anything, though. Next to him was a black-haired man who wore a green suit. The silver-haired man had a mysterious aura. Maybe because his face was hidden by a mask, or maybe it was because he only showed one of his eyes. It was hard to tell for anyone who didn't really knew him. Guy, look at that. The silver-haired man said as he calmly pointed up to the sky, where one object was apparently falling from the skies. Wow, what is that? The man with the green suit asked with a curious and excited tone. I don't know. The silver-haired man answered with an uninterested tone. Let's go and find out, Kakashi, Guy enthusiastically yelled as he beckoned his friend to follow him. Just at that moment, the thing finally hit the floor in the outskirts of the village, making Guy run towards the directions the objects had crashed. As Kakashi and Guy arrived at the place, the Hokage, the same old man that had just talked to Naruto and Konohamaru, and some Anbu were already in the place. This last ones were checking the area, as well as the thing that had fallen from the sky. Oh, hello Kakashi, Guy, please come and take a look. The old man kindly said as he beckoned the men to get closer. Sir, it is just a boy. He's wearing humble and torn clothes. He also seems to be really injured. What should we do? An Anbu said as he went out of the crater the objects had left. Take him to the hospital, we can interrogate him later. The third calmly ordered as he took a smoke from his pipe. All right sir. The Anbu replied, heading back to the crater afterwards. As the Anbu took the boy out, they noticed how muscular he was, making the Hokage really interested in him. Although, their surprise was even greater as they saw his scars. It was shocking to see a young boy with those scars and him still being alive. It was even more unbelievable to think that, even with those injuries, he had survived falling from the sky. Kakashi, Guy, you can go now. I have to arrange things for a meeting with him. The Hokage said as he started to walk out of the place. I'll inform you if I need something from you, but for now, you're free. Finally, I'm a bit hungry. The silver-haired man said as his mouth moved through the mask he wore, showing that he actually moved his lips to speak. He looks really strong, Guy said, making Kakashi shake his head as he knew what was to come. But I can't let him be stronger than me. As Guy started to yell, Kakashi headed back to the village, searching for a restaurant. After some minutes, the taijutsu expert noticed his friend's absence and quickly went into the village. When Gohan woke up, he was in what appeared to be a hospital room, although it had older technology than the rooms he had previously been in. He thought that maybe they had taken him to a hospital that was in other city. He decided to try and sense his friend's energy, but to his confusion, he wasn't able to feel any known energy. He deduced that maybe he wasn't able to feel anyone else as he'd just woken up, but his thoughts were interrupted by some unknown guests. An old man entered the room alongside a silver-haired, younger man who had some red tattoos in both his cheeks and in his chin. The last man to enter the room was a dark blonde-haired man, who kept himself behind the two men that had entered before him. The old man was the first to speak up. "Hello, young man." The elder leader greeted as he smiled kindly, making Gohan gain some confidence. "We'd like to ask some questions to you as we are quite intrigued by your situation." "Alright, I guess." Gohan replied as he sat in his bed to get ready for the questions. "I guess Inoichi won't be necessary then." The silver-haired man thought as he beckoned the man behind to stay there. "First of all, tell us what your name is and where you come from," the old man said kindly. "I'm Son Gohan and I come from Mount Paozu." Gohan casually answered as the silver-haired man got a confused expression. "Interesting. I have never heard about such place," the Hokage said as he got into his thoughts for a brief moment, getting ready to make the next question. "I don't expect you to, it is a really unknown place," Gohan explained as he remembered the looks of the mountains from his house. "You fell down from the skies, so I don't think that is place from this world," the Hokage said in a serious tone as Gohan started to get worried. "It can't be," Gohan said to himself as he started to remember his battle against Cell and the outcome it had, although he calmed down a bit as he was unable to sense Cell's energy, leading him to think that maybe the bio-android had died during the battle. "Anyway, we have one more question," the old man said as he got a bit more serious, but he still kept his calm aura. "Why did you fell down from the sky?" It's quite a long story," Gohan said as he started to swim through his memories. "Let's just say that a portal opened while I was fighting a really dangerous enemy." "Interesting," the old man said as he took a smoke from his pipe. "Alright, thanks for answering our questions. I shall call you to my office when you get better. Let's go, Yuichi." "Yes, sir," the silver-haired man replied as he bowed to the elder. "Inoichi, let's go." The dark blonde-haired man stood up and then walked out of the room following Yuichi. "So I'm in another world," Gohan said to himself as he turned his head to look at the window of his room, admiring the village. "That's just impossible." The young Saiyan continued as he took his hands to his face. "My friends. Mom." Tears started to drop through his fingers as he thought about the possibility of never seeing his friends and family ever again. After some minutes of crying, Gohan made a plan. He would investigate to see if there is a possibility of going back to his world, although he thought that maybe his friends would get him back with the power of the Dragon Balls. "Noticed something, Yuichi?" the third asked as he and his assistant walked through the hallways of the hospital. "What, sir?" the man politely asked back as he wasn't able to understand what the Hokage was trying to say. He said that he was fighting a dangerous enemy before a portal appeared and transported him here. The old man answered as he continued to walk. "That tells us two things. First, he comes from another world, and second, he is really strong." "Are you thinking about recruiting him as a shinobi, sir?" Yuichi asked as he kept walking next to the old man. "Yes, but I need to test his strength. I'll ask Guy to try him when he is fully recovered," the third said, getting a nod from his assistant. "But why Guy? He's just a kid," Yuichi asked, as he raised one of his eyebrows. "Did you see his muscles?" the old man answered as he kept walking. "I think we are witnessing a prodigy that can maybe surpass the likes of Minato, Shisui and Itachi." "And don't you think he'll try to go back to his world?" the Senju assistant asked with a quite skeptical expression and tone. "Oh, don't worry. Hiruzen answered as he happily smiled. "I won't let that happen." Yuichi looked at the Hokage as he kept walking towards the exit of the building. "And I don't believe that such a thing possible either. First of all, we don't even know how he managed to end up here. Second of all, according to what the fourth reported before going to stop the Kyuubi, that type of jutsu only worked in their own bodies. He didn't mention anything about weird portals." Yuichi remembered Minato. his second example in life after the death of his grandfather, Tobirama. Well, maybe we have many things to discover yet. Indeed we have, young one. The third smoked once more from his pipe before exiting the hospital, being greeted by every villager that was outside the building. He smiled as he greeted them back, which caused his assistant to feel annoyed. Maybe it was because of his treatment towards the fox kid, or maybe it was because of his bad decisions like keeping Danzo in the government, but he wasn't able to understand why his grandfather would choose him as Hokage. What do you mean that he cannot bring Gohan back? Yamcha yelled at Dend as the little Namekian got scared by this, getting Piccolo to intervene, calming Yamcha down with a hit in his head. I'd have to ask him, but if Purunga can't, then no one really can. The little magician Namekian explained in a shy and nervous tone. The Z fighters had gone to Namek after the unfortunate outcome of the battle, which had taken Gohan from them, although they were sure that the kid was still alive. With the help of the Namekians, who accepted to help them after recognizing Piccolo and Krillin, who had helped against Freezer all those years ago, they gathered the Namekian Dragon Balls and, thanks to Dend, summoned the dragon. They had wished to bring Gohan to them, but unfortunately, the dragon was directly unable to locate the boy. Don't worry, Dend. Piccolo said with a calm tone. Ask him if he knows where he is. Dend proceeded to ask the dragon in their native language. The little Namekian lowered his head to hide his concerned expression as the dragon answered to him. He turned to Piccolo, shaking his head in response. This had now broken something inside the Namekian warrior. He had never thought of losing his pupil. Ask him if he's dead. Dend asked once again in the native Namekian language, as he once again got a negative question from the dragon. He says that he is also unable to find Gohan in the next world. Everyone became silent due to the shock that this statement caused them. No one could believe that Gohan just ceased to exist, that the kid just vanished from existence. Krillin just imagined that he would be the one to tell the bad news to Chi-Chi, which just worsened his already damaged spirit. Piccolo lowered his head in defeat. He was maybe experiencing the worst defeat of his entire life. For once, the son of the so-called Demon King had lost someone he loved, the one he looked to as a son. Almost all of his clothes had been lost due to their damage, so he was given new ones, which were similar to the ones everyone wore in that world. Gohan's clothes consisted of pants similar to the ones he had before combined with a net shirt underneath a purple loose shirt with short sleeves. The shoes he was wearing before during the battle against Cell, the ones that Piccolo had given him, had been given back to him along with a pair of blue sandals. For now, Gohan chose his old shoes, although the blue sandals made him curious and wanted to try them. After getting himself ready, he left for the place the old man had told him, although he still needed some directions from the villagers, who just thought he was a normal foreigner. Finally, the hybrid Saiyan finally reached the great building where the Hokage was waiting for him. Hey! Gohan said as he was greeted by several people as he made their way to the old man's office. Gohan noticed how some people gave him menacing looks, as if he was some kind of freak, but he decided to ignore it. As he finally reached the door that led to the office, a young, silver-haired man received him, opening the door and letting him enter. Inside the office, an old man was smoking from his pipe. He was wearing the same white robes he had been wearing when Gohan first saw him, although this time he had a peculiar red and white hat. Behind him, pictures of 4 men were in the wall, one of them being himself. The young Saiyan noticed the similarities between the second one of the picture and the Hokage's current assistant. Welcome, Gohan. The old man said, inviting the black-haired Saiyan to take a sit. Thank you, sir. Gohan replied, bowing to the Hokage before taking a seat in front of his desk. It's good to have you here, the old man said as he finally finished his phrase. Anyway, let's go straight to the point. The Saiyan turned to look down at his hands and then back up to the old man, getting mentally ready for any possible attack he could receive. You're a warrior, aren't you? The third asked, taking a smoke from his pipe as he finished his question. We've noticed your physical condition and, according to what you told us about fighting an enemy, we guess that you're a warrior of some kind. Yes, I am. Gohan answered, his tone remaining calm and naive. But why do you ask? I'd like to test your strength, would you mind? The Hokage explained as he paid attention to the Saiyan's expressions, noticing that he may probably have to give some explanations. Konoha is a military village, and seeing that you are a warrior, we would be interested in acquiring your fighting abilities. I guess that's okay. But what do I gain in exchange? The onyx-haired Saiyan said as he expected to at least get something in exchange for his effort. You'll be given a place to live in, you'll be given a considerably good salary and, of course, you'll be recognized as a normal citizen of the village and have access to anything a normal citizen has access to. The old man answered, getting a little, confident smile on his face after Gohan nodded. You said you wanted to test me, right? Gohan asked with a curious expression on his face, although he was a bit unconvinced of fighting again in a while. Will I have to fight anyone? Hiruzen expected this question, although the answer had changed as he imagined it wouldn't really be necessary to test when he was going to take the academy test anyway. Don't worry about that anymore. There has been a change of plans. You won't be tested anymore. The Saiyan raised his eyebrow in confusion, but then figured that it would be better. Yuichi noticed that maybe he would have some doubts and went on to explain things to the kid. You'll soon be told about what will proceed in your life, don't worry. The Senju coldly said as he turned his glance at the Saiyan. Since you are already here, I'll proceed to explain how the shinobi work and its different ranks. The Hokage announced as he grabbed one headband that had been taken to his office and showed it to Gohan. This headband is given to the shinobi that graduate from the academy. Shinobi are basically members of the army of the village, although they normally hold very good life conditions. Hiruzen said with a kind tone, clearly trying to persuade the young Saiyan to join the village as one. Now, let me give you a quick explanation of the ranks we have for shinobi. The Saiyan nodded in response, so the old man proceeded. We have 3 ranks. Genin, the lowest. Chunin, the second one. Junin, the highest rank except for Kage. The Kages are the leaders of the hidden villages. I am the Hokage and therefore I have the highest rank. So he is the leader of the village, Gohan thought. Actually, these men's pictures behind me are my predecessors, me and my successor, who unfortunately died little after he was named Hokage. Hiruzen explained as Gohan started to get interested in them. After some time of looking at the pictures, Gohan turned his glance back at the old man and got back in the conversation. So, will I get any of those ranks? Unfortunately, no, the Hokage answered, disappointing the boy. You'll have to graduate from the academy, but at least you'll be able to make friends, so don't worry. But I will still get paid, right? Gohan asked, to which the old man answered by nodding. Yes, you'll be given enough for you to live correctly, you'll also be given a house. The Hokage said, smiling kindly afterwards. I hope this is enough to earn his trust. I'll have to make some research to find a way to go back home. Gohan thought. By the way, sir, is there any library I can go to? We'll be giving you a map once we give you your house, so don't worry. The Hokage said, getting a triumphant and kind smile in his face. It looks like he trusts us. Thanks, sir. Gohan said as he bowed to the old man. You're welcome. Now you'll be taken to your house, please follow Yuichi. The Hokage said as he beckoned his assistant to go. A couple of weeks had passed since he had appeared in the sky above the village, but he hardly had done anything, mainly because the majority of the time he had been recovering from his injuries. That day Gohan had to go to the academy to at least learn and get to know who'll probably be his new teammates. He had already taken a bath and had put his clothes on, the same clothes he wore the day before when he had met with the Hokage. Time to go to school, I guess. Goku's son said as he opened the door to leave for the academy. He decided to stay for a little more and eat something else before leaving. He was a bit nervous, he had never gone to school before, and it made him terrified to think that he wouldn't be able to make friends. Now, it's time. Gohan said as he quickly left the house after closing the door. His speed would be totally shocking and unbelievable to anyone that wasn't from his own world. Even though he had the ability to fly, he was really unsure if he would be able to use it. He thought that maybe it would scare people off. He still preferred to fly, though, but he ended up walking to the academy. Once he arrived, he was able to see a lot of kids of his age. The kids played, talked and ate. Something catched his attention, though. A blonde kid was sitting alone in the grass in front of where all the kids were. The kid looked sad and Gohan just couldn't ignore him. Hey! Gohan said as he greeted the kid. What's your name? Hey! The kid said as he raised his head to look at the boy that was talking to him. I'm Naruto, what about you? I'm Gohan. The half-Saiyan enthusiastically said as he noticed the kid started to cheer up a bit. As they were called into the building to start classes, Gohan told Naruto to go with him, to which the blonde agreed. As they reached their class, Gohan was told by the professor to wait outside. yet telling Naruto to. This man had a scar in his face, like a cut, that went from cheek to cheek. He finally entered the class as he was called in. "Hello. I'm Son Gohan and I'm new in the village," the half-Saiyan said with a happy and enthusiastic tone. "I hope we can get along." "Alright, Gohan, take a seat," the professor said as the half-Saiyan nodded. "I'm Aruka, and I'm here for whatever you need, okay?" Gohan nodded again as he tried to find a place to sit. He tried to find a seat next to Naruto, but it was already taken. He finally saw one next to a blonde girl, who beckoned him to seat next to her. "Thanks," Gohan softly told the girl, as he sat down next to her. "No problem," the girl said. She stretched her hand to Gohan. "I'm Ino." "Nice to meet you," Gohan said as he shook her hand. The class went by pretty quickly, or that's at least what Gohan thought. He had always been interested in learning, he loved to learn. He was really interested in this jutsu things. He thought of how useful they could be in his own world. In the end, he was happy even though he hasn't learned anything about energy capable of creating black holes or any real distortion in the universe. The break had finally come and Gohan was hungry. He had taken some lunch to the academy as Trunks prepared it for him. Everyone was shocked when they reached him out to talk and saw the crazy amount of lunch Gohan had. "Have you been carrying that all the way here?" a boy with a sweater on said. "Eating that much can be really troublesome," another boy with his hair in a tail said. Suddenly, another kid spoke up. He had black hair and blue clothes, and apparently, some girls were really into him. "If you eat that much then your physical condition has to be really bad," the boy said. "Man, have you even taken a look at him?" Naruto asked as he got mad at the boy. "You always have to be so annoyingly complaining, Sasuke." Everyone was shocked at Naruto's response to the Uchiha. The kid with a hair in a tail facepalmed as the boys of the classroom just felt bad for Naruto, while the girls of the class just cheered Sasuke up as they expected him to easily beat the blonde kid. "Shut up, idiot," Sasuke replied as he turned back to look at Naruto, who was standing up in front of him. "A loser like you can't make fun of a prodigy like me. Don't you get it? Are you so literally retarded that you still aren't able to understand?" "Who are you to say that to Naruto?" Gohan said with a serious tone, as the Uchiha widened his eyes in anger. "Judging by your lack of empathy, you seem to be the stupid one around here." Sasuke's anger increased, and it being the new one confronting him made it easier as he didn't have to hold back, just like he did with Naruto. "You don't even know what he had to feel like all day being alone." "You don't know anything about me, new guy," Sasuke said as he pointed right to Gohan's face. "Just shut up, I don't have time to waste in you, I have a more important mission to deal with." "Whatever your mission is, you just can't treat other person like that," Gohan replied with an annoyed tone. Although he didn't seem to have the intention of causing any harm, he just wanted the Uchiha to understand Naruto. "I don't know you, but I don't think that is justified." Sasuke was left speechless by Gohan's words. He knew he was right, but he refused to let anyone win against him. He needed to be strong to defeat Itachi. He didn't see the necessity of beginning a fight, so he decided to continue the argument. "And you shouldn't judge people you don't know. I could have a life just as hard as Naruto's and you wouldn't know." "I see. I can't deny that, I'm sorry," the Saiyan said, getting a nod from the Uchiha back in a way of accepting the apologies. Naruto watched at Gohan, someone he had just met and had just defended him. The Uchiha sat down as he regretted saying what he said to Sasuke. After all, they had lived a life of almost equal pain and loneliness. He one day would apologize. Meanwhile, Gohan was getting ready to start eating his meal, having a change of mood that just seemed out of place for anyone. Time to eat. Everyone in the classroom fell on their backs as Gohan went casually back to his place and started eating really quickly. The other kids, except for Sasuke and Naruto, who were busy submerging in their thoughts, were shocked at how Gohan ate. "Anyway, when will you graduate?" Gohan asked. He calmly kept eating. "Tomorrow is the final test," a search pink-haired girl answered, still shocked at how fast he ate that much food. "And I don't know what you'll do because your first day was the day before the final exam." Gohan's face turned white as his face showed total shock. He even spit out his food due to his surprise. "I wasn't able to find anything," Gohan said to himself, continuing to eat his cereal afterwards. "It's frustrating. At least this cereal is really good." Gohan's house was really organized as he'd invested some of the money he had for food on a couple of cabinets to store things he had accumulated. Fortunately for him, his mother had been really worried about his studies and got him into a course of financial education, so he knew how to manage money. He still thought that he was in a difficult situation, but at least he got some money before becoming a shinobi and starting to earn his own money. Gohan continued to eat his cereal. He really enjoyed eating cereal. It was a very good meal even though it was light and really simple. After eating his bowl of cereal, he left home for school. Iruka was already calling the list of names for every student to get the final exam. Gohan didn't even know what to do as he had just been there for one class. He honestly didn't even know what he was doing there. Ino Yamanaka. Iruka called, leaving the half Saiyan as the next one to do the exam. Sasuke saw how Gohan panicked at not knowing what to do, making him laugh. The half Saiyan noticed this and it actually helped him to focus. He at least wishes it was a strength test. Son Gohan. Iruka called. As he exited the classroom, he saw two more ninjas apart from Iruka, who encouraged him before going back to the classroom. One of them looked as if he was sick, while the other had a bandana that covered his head. So, can you do any technique that isn't destructive? The sick-looking man asked, to which Gohan answered by nodding. Solar flare. Gohan yelled as he took his hands in front of his face, making a blinding light appear between them, vanishing after a couple of seconds. The two ninjas started to rub their eyes. They finally were able to open them again and actually see something, showing their shock as they finally saw the boy. Not bad. The man with the bandana said. Anyway, you pass, get your headband. He continued as he gave Gohan a headband with a metal plate with a symbol in it. You're officially a genin. As he left the academy, Gohan met Naruto on his way home. The half Saiyan greeted the blonde boy kindly, and so did Naruto. So, were you able to pass the exam? Gohan curiously asked. Check it for yourself. Naruto enthusiastically answered, taking his headband and putting it on his forehead. How do I look? Somehow, it looked as if it had been made specifically for him. Suits you really well. Gohan answered as he got his own on his forehead. Then, he changed his mind and put it in his right arm. What about mine? Does it look good? Different, but I guess it's cool, Naruto said as he gave Gohan a thumbs up. Tomorrow they're giving the teams, right? Gohan asked as they continued walking. Yeah. Naruto answered. I hope I'm not in the same team as Sasuke, he makes me sick. Gohan laughed a bit at Naruto's comment, making Naruto laugh too and then both of them laughing together. Today, your lives as shinobi from Konoha start. Lives filled with discipline, danger and adventures. The Hokage said as he stood in a sort of stage. In front of him, the newly graduated genin were hearing his speech. Your professor, Iruka, will be giving you your respective teams. Your teammates will be your working partners and friends for your entire lives, so make sure you treat them well. The Hokage beckoned Iruka to go next to him. As Iruka stepped forward, the students started to cheer him, especially Naruto. Alright, then let's go ahead and announce the teams, Iruka said, getting a list out of his clipboard. He started to read it afterwards. Let's see. Gohan said as his teacher continued to read the list of teams that both him and the Hokage had made. Team 7 will be formed by Sakura Haruno, Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha. And it will be in charge of Kakashi Hatake. Iruka announced, making Sakura cheer and brag about it in Ino's face, making the blonde girl roll her eyes. Naruto wasn't sure how to feel about his team as he was happy that he was in the same team as Sakura. But at the same time he was unhappy about Sasuke being in his team. He finally decided to accept it, although he wished Gohan was in Sasuke's place. On the other hand, Sasuke was totally disappointed about his team as he thought both Naruto and Sakura were just going to be an obstacle for him. Team 8 will be formed by Hinata Hyuga, Shino Aburame and Kiba Inuzuka. Kurenai Yuhi will be on charge of this group. Iruka announced. The pearl-like-eyed girl was a bit disappointed as she wanted to be with Naruto, but she accepted the team in the end. Kiba was excited to get to know new people, while Shino was totally uninterested. Hee, I'll be with Hinata. Maybe I'll finally be able to talk to her, Kiba excitedly thought. Next will be Team 10 and it will be formed by Choji Akamichi, Ino Yamanaka and Shikamaru Nara, and Asuma Sarutobi will be in charge of the team, Iruka announced. Yeah, I knew it, Shikamaru said with an uninterested tone. Choji was actually happy with his team, although Ino was a bit jealous of Sakura. The three of them either raised an eyebrow in confusion or just got a confused expression in their faces as the Hokage told something to Iruka in the ear. "Excuse me, there's a little change in Team 10. Iruka announced as he scratched the back of his head. Son Gohan is also part of the team, making it a team of 4 genin. Shikamaru got a slightly surprised expression as he didn't expect his team to have one more member. On the other hand, Choji wasn't sure how to react, although he supposed it was something good. Ino was a bit happy as she had already met Gohan and he was quite a nice guy, at least that was what she thought. She couldn't deny that he was a bit handsome, too. At least I'm with Ino, she's nice, I guess. Gohan said more to himself, but was heard by Naruto. You're lucky, I'm with Sasuke, Naruto complained. Gohan was about to reply to his friend's complaint but Iruka raised his voice again to give one more announcement. Now, your new teachers or leaders will present themselves to you. Iruka said. So please be nice to them. Then, several Junin appeared next to their respective teams. Apparently every team except for Team 7, as Kakashi was nowhere to be seen. Hey! Asuma said as he waved at the young members of his team. He had a friendly smile on his face. How's everything? Fine. Shikamaru coldly and uninterestedly answered. I think we're missing the new guy. Choji said as looked behind him. Does anyone of you know him? Asuma curiously asked after watching if he was somewhere to be seen. I do. Ino said as she raised an eyebrow. Is he nice? Asuma continued to ask as Choji's eyes widened in surprise. Yeah, he is. Ino answered as she smiled nervously. Hey, Gohan. Hey. The half Saiyan replied, making Asuma cringe out of surprise. Hello, Gohan. Asuma nervously said as he smiled while a drop of sweat went down his face. How are you all? The half Saiyan kindly asked as he joined the group. Everyone answered his question, giving Asuma time to think of something to do to get to know each other. Then he thought about Kakashi's idea, and decided to copy it. Anyway, I'd like this team to be really close, so I want us to know each other better. Asuma said, making Gohan smile as he liked the idea. Each of you will tell us your likes and dislikes, and then your goal in the future. That sounds fine. Ino said as she turned to look at the others. Yeah, it's okay for me. Choji replied as Shikamaru and Gohan nodded. Alright, then, I'll start. Asuma said. I love cigarettes and peace. I hate losing loved ones and I already achieved my goal. Your turn, Choji. I love food. I hate being hungry and my dream is to break some food eating record. Choji asked as he thought about what food he'd eat next. Interesting, I guess. Asuma said, laughing a bit afterwards. Anyway, your turn, Shikamaru. Whatever. Shikamaru said as he took a moment to think of his answers. I like sleeping. I hate doing any mental or physical effort and I don't really have a goal. We'll work on that, then. Asuma said as he laughed a bit. Your turn, Ino. I like shopping. I hate work and I guess I can't tell if I have a goal, but I'm ready for everything, Ino confidently and enthusiastically said. I like your confidence and energy. You will surely be a good shinobi in the future. Asuma said as he turned to look at Gohan, giving him a friendly smile. Now your turn, Gohan. Alright. The half Saiyan said as he scratched his chin for a moment before answering. I love animals and learning things. I hate evil people and my goal is to protect the world and the living being that live here. Asuma and Choji were surprised at the complexity of Gohan's answer. Shikamaru and Ino were surprised too. But the Nara hid his surprise and the Yamanaka preferred to give an interested expression. That's really admirable, Gohan. Asuma admitted as he remembered his nephew, Konohamaru. How did it go for you? Gohan asked as he walked next to a blonde boy. It wasn't that bad, but I found out that Sasuke is even creepier than he seems. Naruto answered. Even Sakura got a bit astonished when he said his dream was to kill someone. I would have reacted the same, Gohan reassuringly said. As the boys kept walking, a group of 3 kids suddenly got in their way. Naruto, why haven't you played with me recently? One of the kids asked. He had brown, spiky hair and he had a really nice blue scarf. I've been busy. Naruto replied. By the way, this is Gohan, he's new in the village. Hey. Gohan kindly greeted. What's your name? I'm Konohamaru, the next Hokage. The kid answered with great enthusiasm. I see why you're friends, then. Gohan said as he noticed how both Naruto and him wanted to become Hokage. Unfortunately for Naruto, I'll be the one who becomes Hokage, Konohamaru declared. I'm even older than you. What makes you think you can beat me? The blonde boy replied as he got ready to fight Konohamaru. You're just 3 years older than me, the kid yelled. I'm still older. Naruto yelled back. Hey, calm down. Gohan said as he got between the two of them. How about we all go together to eat at Ichiraku? Yeah. The other two kids said, making Konohamaru and Naruto accept the suggestion too. So what are your names? Gohan kindly asked. Moegi, the little girl enthusiastically answered. And Udon, the other kid said with a lot less enthusiasm as he appeared to be sick. All right then. Let's go. Gohan said. The group of 5 kids now walked towards Ichiraku, where some delicious cups of ramen waited for them. So here's today's chapter. I hope you like it and don't worry if it boring. Next one will be the start of the Chunin exams. I thought being a shinobi would be more entertaining, Shikamaru said, continuing to eat after talking. Asuma had taken them to eat to the same restaurant he always took them to after their 3rd mission as a team. He wanted to celebrate every single mission, as he always noticed how much their friendship and skills improved with every single mission. There's something that always surprised him, though. Gohan never struggled much with strength-related tasks. He also noticed how Gohan showed great experience in fighting when he sparred with his teammates. Don't expect to have higher-ranked missions if you're still Genin, Asuma replied. Team 7 did get a high-ranked mission, Gohan reminded, making the Junin cringe. Well, that's true, Choji admitted as he took a bite out of his meal. I think we should go and ask the Hokage, just as Naruto did, Ino suggested, taking a sip of water before continuing to eat. I don't think the Junin was interrupted by Gohan, who spoke up. That's a good idea, the half-Saiyan reaffirmed. I'm dead, Asuma said to himself as he looked down at the floor in defeat. Let's go, but you ask him, not me. All right, Ino yelled as she started celebrating. Then, she beckoned everyone to follow her towards the Hokage Tower. Everyone left their meals there, but Choji took it with him, completely ignoring fact. Again? The Hokage thought as the Genin of Asuma's team complained of the little difficulty of their missions. Please understand that you're Genin. I cannot give you missions with a higher rank than C. What about a B-ranked mission? I don't think that's too much for us, Ino suggested as her teammates supported her. Asuma was about to faint from his nervousness and anxiety. I would have to check. The Hokage was interrupted by a Junin that entered the room at that moment. He wore a headband that covered most of his head, letting 3 locks of hair go down to his face. His face made him look as if he was sick. Hey, old man, I'm back, the Junin said. Hayate, you arrived just in time, the Hokage excitedly replied. Ah, why's that? The lizard lover confusedly asked as he scratched his head. These kids were just asking if they could get a higher-ranked mission, and I figured that you could help them, the old man explained, smiling afterwards. Asuma? Hayate confusedly asked as he noticed his old friend's presence and also of some young kids. Oh, by the way, have you made the report of your missions? The Hokage asked. Yes, sir, I have it here, Hayate said, handing over some papers to the old man. All right, then, the old man replied as he took a look at the papers. You can help these kids now, you're free. Sigh, whatever, the sick-looking man said as he turned to look at the group of kids, and then at Asuma. Do I have a limit of rankings I can take them to? Yes, B, now go. The Hokage quickly answered as he started to check on the reports he'd just been given. All right, Hayate said. Let's go, I'll get you a mission. I'm not actually free, so you'll have to help me with something, Hayate said as he walked through the halls of the Hokage Tower. Behind him, 4 Genin and Asuma were following him. Some of the shinobi Hayate walked past gave him weird glances or raised their eyebrow. It was quite a rare thing to see him with some kids. You would regularly see him hanging out with friend or with Yugo, maybe even alone, but it sure was weird to see him with kids. So what is your mission about? Asuma asked. He was obviously concerned about his students, so he wanted to see if they were prepared enough for the mission they were going to do. A diplomatic meeting to increase our relations with the San, Hayate explained as he took one of his lizards out, whispering something to it. The lizard was a bit bigger than a normal one and his skin was blue, making it even rarer. It wore a green vest similar to the one of the Junin uniform, but way smaller. As soon as it left, Hayate continued walking. Lizards. Gohan curiously analyzed how the lizard ran away and how it seemed to also have certain ninja skills as it had a kunai pocket behind his vest. To the hidden sand? Ino asked, raising one of her eyebrows. I thought every hidden village were enemies. Not exactly. Hayate stopped walking and turned to the kids. You see, the hidden leaf has always had a better relationship with the sand than the rest of hidden villages, but it has been getting worse recently. Yes, the cage hasn't accepted any meetings with the third, recently. Asuma added as he scratched his chin. But why now? I don't know, I don't trust them. Hayate explained. That's why I will use your help. As Hayate gave them a really big smile, Asuma was scared by it. The genin just felt awkward because the man's smile was quite weird. But won't it be too dangerous for them? Asuma asked after calming down a bit. Come on. We're two Junin, we surely can help them escape. Hayate eagerly answered as he continued walking. Asuma cringed at his friend's odd energy. Maybe he was just nervous or something. Meanwhile, the four genin became more eager to leave every second the conversation continued. I'm getting bored going so slow. Hayate said with a dull tone, suddenly starting to run really quickly after finishing his phrase. How about we hurry up? Did he find anything new? Yuichi asked. He was sitting in front of the Hokage's desk, drinking a cup of tea. Yes, apparently he's close to finding Orochimaru. Hiruzen said as he took his hat off. Do you think he'll be able to find him without being killed? Yuichi asked again, taking a sip of tea after finishing his phrase. He's Hayate, I trust him. The third said as he gave a strong look to Yuichi. He's a Junin and he can use the Sage mode. Yuichi said, stopping to get one more sip of tea before continuing. But we're talking about Orochimaru. Yes, but I'm sure he can manage to escape. The old Hokage replied. He wanted to trust in Hayate's great speed and agility, but he was perfectly conscious that Orochimaru would easily kill him. I think that all the villagers are watching us. Ino uncomfortably said as she turned to look to every villager that walked past her. Hayate was the only one of them that was calm. Even Asuma was nervous about the situation. The Sarutobi was ready to attack anyone suspicious that got close to them with his blade. Is that the cage tower? Gohan asked as he pointed at a tall building that was also made out of sandstone, just like the rest of the buildings. As Hayate nodded in response, a group of at least 8 Junin surrounded them. Asuma took his blade out without even thinking twice, making the genin react in the same way. This is a diplomatic mission, remember? Hayate gave them a disappointed glance. He raised his hands before turning to the one who seemed to be the leader. We're from Konoha. The third Hokage told us that the cage would be open to negotiations with our village. Well, we haven't been informed by the cage, the leader said. He stood out from the rest of the Junin as he wore a turban-like headgear and a sheet that went down to cover the left side of his face. He also had 2 red marks in the visible side of his face. Why don't you ask him, then? I've been told by the Hokage that we were supposed to be negotiating today. Hayate started to get nervous, a couple drops of sweat going down his face. Asuma sighed as he started to get ready for the inevitable fight. Gohan noticed the tension that was surrounding them and decided to feel the energy of the Junin of the sand, noticing that Hayate seemed to be stronger than the majority of them. Alright, we'll ask him, the leader said. Please stay here while we go. The man left 3 men with the shinobi from the leaf, obviously making sure that they would not leave. Hayate knew that there was something going on and took the decision to abandon the mission. He wouldn't risk the lives of 3 kids just to see what happens. Asuma. Hayate softly called his partner. Asuma answered softly. Leave and take the kids with you, I'll get you time. Hayate said, turning his head back to Asuma, showing his concerned expression. Why? What happened? The Sarutobi asked as he got ready to leave. There's something wrong here and I don't want to risk anyone's life, so go. The Sarutobi and the kids quickly ran, making the Junin of the sand try to follow them. Hayate got in front of them as he got his sword out. The lizard expert threw his sword to the air and grabbed it by the blade, hitting the other Junin with the other part of his sword and knocking them out without major struggle. He then ran towards the direction Asuma and the genin left. The leader of the Sand Junin went out of the cage tower with 7 more Junin. He became angry when he saw his men knocked out in the floor. As Hayate ran through the streets of the village, he remembered when he looked up to one of the highest windows of the Cage Tower. There was a kid, and he saw that he had some Junin in his room apparently taking care of him. Hayate grinned as he found out that his mission hadn't been a total failure. So he is the Jinchuriki. The man increased his speed as he reached the gates of the village and quickly went through them. The guards tried to follow him, but they just weren't able to get even close to him. That was such a weird and suspiciously short mission for its rank, wasn't it? Shikamaru said as he scratched his chin. Why? Naruto asked as he scratched his head. Both teams had already come back from their respective missions and they surely had gotten some experience out of them. They were now reunited in Gohan as the Saiyan wanted to meet them all. Although to everyone's surprise, Naruto and Sasuke appeared to be friends now. Well, yeah, but just as that Hayate guy said something went wrong. Gohan explained. Hayate? That weirdo that always looks as if he's sick? Sakura asked. Maybe, but he's quite fast and strong. Ino, who was sitting next to Gohan and Shikamaru, said. Whatever. Sasuke said. He didn't think of Hayate as someone strong, he was just one ninja more. He isn't that strong. You're going to continue with that? Shikamaru rolled his eyes as he expected the same speech. What? Are you still not able to admit that Daichi is the strongest ninja of the village? Sasuke tried to mock the Nara, but he couldn't care less. The fact that you're the last two Uchiha don't make you stronger than the likes of the Hokage. Choji intervened. Wait, the last two? Gohan asked as he was totally confused. Oh, right, you're new. Shikamaru remembered, coughing a bit after saying that. Choji started to eat his chips faster as he was getting anxious of how Sasuke could react. My clan was massacred. The Uchiha explained, making everyone shocked as he managed to keep calm. By my own search brother. Gohan's eyes widened in horror as the young Uchiha finished his last phrase. He wished he'd read a bit more of the history books before leaving for the village. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, Gohan tried to say before being interrupted by Sasuke. The Saiyan had a difficult childhood himself and he knew what remembering that type of things feels like, so he imagined it would hurt even more to make him remember something even worse than his own. Don't be sorry, you didn't know. Sasuke replied. Everyone was totally shocked, even Naruto, at how comprehensive the Uchiha had been. What happened to you? Shikamaru asked as he still had his surprised expression. Sasuke did not answer, but was clearly annoyed by this as his eyebrow started to tick while a vein showed up in his forehead. Anyway, how was your mission? Gohan asked, smiling nervously and trying to save Shikamaru's ass. The genin were really busy recently and so Konohamaru had to enjoy the most time he had alongside his good friends Naruto and Gohan. So, how's the academy been? Gohan asked as he remembered the extremely short time he spent there. Good, I guess, I'm one of the best students. Konohamaru answered. He appeared to be happy at first, but then he turned serious. Although it appears not to be enough for my grandpa. One of the best? That's awesome. Naruto cheered, helping the Sarutobi be happy again. I foresee that we'll have a really close competition for the Hokage position. Naruto said, trying to imitate the voice of an old man. Nah, I'll definitely beat you. Konohamaru said with a serious tone, but then laughing along with his two friends. What about you? Has it been fun? Sometimes it is and some others it is either boring or really hard. Gohan answered as Naruto just remained silent while remembering Zabuza and Haku. I see. Konohamaru said before apparently remembering something. Oh, sorry, I have to leave. Both Gohan and Naruto confusedly saw as Konohamaru left Ichiraku and his bowl of ramen for whatever he needed to leave. Well, that was weird. Naruto admitted as Gohan nodded in agreement. Totally. The Saiyan added as Naruto continued to eat his bowl of ramen. Yuichi stood right next to the Hokage's desk as the old man checked upon some new documents he'd received from some of the Junin that were now in his office. I'm guessing that you already know why you're here, but if you don't know still, then our motive is the Chunin exams. The third explained as he got up and walked towards the Junin. And first of all, I would like to ask Kurenai, Kakashi and Asuma if they recommend their teams for the exams. Daichi, who was just behind Guy, widened his eyes in surprise as he discovered that Kakashi now had a team of genin to his command. He also was in charge of a genin team, although he had never really cared much about it. I, Kakashi Hatake, recommend my students, Sakura Haruno, Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha, for the Chunin exams. The man known as the Copy Nin said. I, Kurenai Yuhi, am on charge of Team 8, which is formed by Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga and Kiba Inuzuka, and I recommend them all for the exams. The girl with the scarlet eyes firmly said, exchanging looks with Asuma as the man got ready to speak. I, Asuma Sarutobi, recommend my students, members from Team 10, Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akamichi and Son Gohan, for the exams. The Hokage's son said as he confidently smiled after finishing his phrase. I would normally ask if you're sure about your decisions, but it seems that you're indeed very confident about it. The old man said. It makes me intrigued to see what these rookies can offer. How talented can those rookies be for them to be recommended so soon? Guy thought as he couldn't hide the surprise in his face. Especially the ones of Kakashi, who never approved of any team before them. Wait. A voice in the back said. Iruka walked through the rest of the Junin and finally stayed in front of the Hokage, next to Kurenai. Hokage, sir, those genin were my students and I know their abilities. I'm pretty sure that they still aren't ready for the exams. Before either the third or Kakashi were able to answer to Iruka's complaint, someone raised his hand before joining the conversation. You said it yourself, Iruka, they were your students. A man with black, long hair, replied in a slightly harsh tone. How long has it been since the last time you saw them in action? I bet it's been a while. Iruka was unable to answer to the Uchiha's reply and preferred to remain silent, giving Kakashi the opportunity to reply too. If you're more comfortable, you can test them by yourself, Kakashi calmly said, clearly ignoring Daichi's response. Iruka answered by nodding and then went back to where he was. Chunin what? Gohan asked, making everyone except for Asuma fell back. The Junin just cringed from his student's reaction. Exams. The son of Lord Third answered as he maintained his cringe expression. Oh, so that's what you do to get the higher rank, huh? The Saiyan said, making his teammates confused. Are you stupid or do you fake it? I'm not able to find out at this point, Ino said as she facepalmed. Anyway, I want to know what you think about it. The Junin said as he gave a look to each one of them. If you don't want to participate, you can wait for next year's exams. I think it will be fun, so I'm in. Gohan said, turning to his teammates before he continued talking. I can help you train anyway. Then I'm in, Choji said as he raised his hand. Count on me for this, Ino said, smiling confidently as she finished her phrase. Whatever, I guess I'm in, too, Shikamaru indifferently said, turning his look apart from his partners. But just if Gohan gets to train us, either way we're dead. Wow. I admire your enthusiasm, boys, Asuma happily said as he scratched the back of his head. If you need any help with the training, tell me and I'll help with whatever I can. Thanks a lot, Asuma. Gohan replied as he bowed to him, showing his gratefulness. So, when are these Chunin exams? Shikamaru asked. He wanted to measure how much they'd have to train, although he knew that Gohan would get them fit in a really short time. In 2 days, so get ready, Asuma said, giving his students a really big smile. But don't worry, you'll be able to do it. Nara's jaw fell down in shock of the incredibly short amount of time they'd have to get ready. Ino, while as surprised as Shikamaru, just widened her eyes. On the other hand, Choji just kept eating his chips as he expected something like that to happen. Then let's start right now, Gohan said, waving at Asuma and running towards one of the training camps. Follow me and try to keep my pace. This is the beginning of the training. It's a joke, right? Shikamaru asked to himself as he surprisingly admired the Saiyan's speed. Please tell me it's a joke. Stop complaining and let's go, Ino said as she started to run behind Gohan, making her maximum effort to reach him. She was followed by Shikamaru and Choji, who really struggled to even reach the blonde Kunoichi. Ha, weird, Konohamaru said as he walked next to one of the training camps along with his friends. Where can the boss be? Moegi asked as they continued to walk. Isn't that Gohan? Udon said as he pointed towards the training camp, where Gohan was training along with his teammates. Yeah. Maybe he knows where the boss is, Konohamaru said, running towards the camp as fast as he could. He was followed by Moegi and Udon, although he was clearly the fastest one of the three. As they got closer to him, Gohan sensed the familiar energy of the Hokage's grandson. He was a bit surprised by the speed of the young kid, who left his friends behind by a considerable distance. "Hey! What do you need?" Gohan said, calling the attention of his teammates, who got distracted and stopped their physical training. "Not you, continue sprinting." "Have you seen Naruto?" the young kid answered, to which the Saiyan answered by shaking his head. "Sorry, but have you tried searching in the other training camps? Or maybe in Ichiraku?" Gohan suggested. "Oh, you're right, thanks," Konohamaru said, smiling afterwards. "Oh, by the way, when I become a genin I want to train with you, too." "No problem. I see that you have potential, so it would be an honor," Gohan said, laughing softly afterwards. "Anyway, bye, Gohan," the kid said as he waved while starting to run backwards. Moegi and Udon has finally gotten some time to rest as they saw Konohamaru return with the same speed as before. They still followed him even though they were tired. "Alright, enough," Gohan yelled, making his teammates fall down to the floor out of exhaustion. "Who won, then?" "Ino, of course. We were totally crushed by her," Shikamaru said as he struggled to get some air. "I am exhausted too, so there wasn't that much difference," the blonde girl said as she sat up in the floor. Choji remained silent as he started to eat another bag of chips he'd brought to the training camp. "Anyway, you'll now have to take my headband off," Gohan said as he changed his headband's place from his arm to his forehead. "I used to do something similar with my father and my mentor back at home." "Alright. Let's go," Ino yelled as she got up. She was clearly exhausted and sore, but she still tried to encourage his friends to complete the training. Shikamaru said as he got up, motivating Choji to do the same. Shikamaru quickly made his shadow imitation technique, failing to catch Gohan in it but getting him just in point for Ino to perform her mind-body switch technique. As she got in the Saiyan's mind, she was able to see some memories, which made her confused as she wouldn't get that inside of someone's mind. She saw Frieza killing Dend, then Piccolo sacrificing himself, and as she was about to see 16's head being stomped, Gohan managed to get her out. The girl was really shocked and shook as she got out of his mind. Gohan noticed this and glanced at her as she did the same. Choji took advantage of this distraction and attacked the Saiyan, who dodged the Akimichi's attack stylishly, making him hit the floor. "Alright, I'm waiting," Gohan said as he got his hands in a clearly defensive position. Was all Shikamaru could express as he got up from his knees. "We need a plan." Ino took a kunai, standing up after taking it while leaving it behind her back. "Wait. Do you have a—" as the Saiyan tried to ask something, the blonde girl throwed her kunai. Gohan obviously dodged it, but as he looked down at his feet, he saw how Shikamaru had trapped him with his shadow. "Gotcha," Choji said as he calmly grabbed the Saiyan's headband. "Wow, that was really good," Gohan admitted as he released himself from the shadow, proving to Shikamaru that in fact he'd always been able to free himself from his technique. "I have to congratulate you for your effort, you were truly amazing." "HMPH," Shikamaru said, nodding in thankfulness. "Hey, thanks, you're cool you know," Choji said as he gave all of his teammates one of his chips. "There ya go." "Thanks, Gohan, Choji," Ino said, eating the chip. After saying this, she glanced at Gohan while they all ate the chip Choji had given to them. She had really been complimented by the Saiyan's comment. "What have you been through, Gohan? Do you think we'll find him?" Yuichi asked as he and other two Junin made their way out of a forest. "I don't know, all I know is that we have to find him," Daichi answered in a serious tone that was just strange for him. "Aren't we disrespecting the First's legacy by getting the Jinchurikis back to Konoha?" A ninja with glasses and a brown hair as spiky as Kakashi said. "I guess, but there's nothing we can do about it," Yuichi said, surprising Daichi, who expected him to give a speech about his family. Ironically, the next one to be surprised would be the Senju, as he noticed Daichi activating his Sharingan and stopping. As the Uchiha remained standing on a branch of a tree, Yuichi raised his eyebrow but still got his defense up. "Aoba, is it that man over there?" Daichi asked as he pointed to a man. He was wearing a red conical hat and a red mask that covered half of his face. His face was also hidden by a white fabric that was attached to the hat. He also wore a red and gray uniform, similar to one from a samurai. "I believe so, he matches the descriptions," Aoba answered. The three of them continued their way towards the man, who noticed them and started to run. "No, wait," Yuichi yelled, trying to call the man's attention. Let's surround him, Daichi said, being answered by a nodding from each of his partners. Aoba acted as a distractor for Daichi to try and give him a hit, but was unable to as the man dodged it. Finally, Yuichi got in front of him with his high speed, and as the man noticed it, he was surrounded. Back off. I don't want to be forced to use my power, the man said, getting apparently ready for using the one of the tailed beast's power. Calm down. We don't want to kill you. We just want to talk, alright? Aoba said with a cautious tone. Alright, the man said without getting his guard down. So, what's your name? Yuichi asked as he lowered his arms, giving the man a bit more trust. Han. The man coldly answered without lowering his hands. He was still ready for a battle against this three shinobi. Where are you from and what do you want? We're from Konoha. Yuichi answered as he crossed his arms. We want you to stay in our village. Konoha? Han asked as he started to submerge into his thoughts. Why would you want me to go there? The Hokage has the purpose of taking the Jinchurikis back to Konoha as they have apparently caused trouble and conflicts between villages. Yuichi answered. He thought he maybe had revealed too much information, but he was sure it was necessary for the sake of the mission's success. Do you intend to use us as weapons? Han asked while he adopted a more relaxed position, making Daichi take his fighting stance without him noticing. Don't even dare to, Uchiha. Yuichi said as he noticed Daichi's intentions. Whatever. The Uchiha said as Han turned to look behind him, finding the ninja. Daichi walked back to Aoba's side as Han kept his relaxed position. And to answer your question, not that I'm aware of, but I'm not much on favor of using you as weapons, so I won't let it happen. Yuichi's answer convinced Han successfully, he would accept to go to Konoha, at least for now. I'm going with you, then, Han said, getting the several paper bombs he'd put all around the place back. Interesting. Yuichi said to himself as he turned around and started to move towards Konoha. I would like you to meet someone when we're there. The chapter is end here now. We will meet with another chapter, so don't forget to subscribe our channel for more content like this.